Hi, my name is Alexandra. Welcome to my channel Plantation of Creativity, the place of growth and personal transformation. Today I prepared for you a short video about a very interesting movie, 50 Shades of Grey. I guess some of you have watched the trilogy or maybe have read the book. I haven't read the book so far, but I have watched the 3 movies. And today I would like to touch upon of a short analysis of Anastasia Steele personality and the personality disorders that she displays. I think this is a very, very interesting topic, and for those of you who are the fans of the movie, as well as those of you who are more interested in how does it really depict modern psychological problems, I invite you to watch this short video. I will answer 3 questions here. First question will be, what kind of a woman would feel attracted to a Christian Grey? We will talk about some characteristics of such women who can fall prey to narcissists. Second question will be, what kind of deficits does Anna have from her childhood? And then we will kind of take a more general look on how it plays out in the adult life. And the third question that I will answer today is what kind of a psychological dynamic made Anna stay with Christian Grey, with such a person, although she really longed for a romantic, loving relationship, and instead she chose something else. So let's first dwell on the first question of what kind of woman would fall for a Christian Grey. First of all, I know maybe I will cite here a fable that the majority of both men and women are well acquainted with. It's a fable of a knight in a shiny armor riding a white horse coming to rescue a princess who is locked up in the tower. So here, of course, all women, they dream of being rescued by a prince, by a knight, and women often fantasize about being swept off their feet by a handsome, wealthy, decisive man who knows what he wants. And this in turn is this shield or a face mask, the mask of Christian Grey, because on the outside he looks just like this dream model of every woman, and also the fables from the childhood. But then, who is Anna? Who is Anastasia Steele? What kind of a woman is she? We see that she is first of all a student. She's very shy. She's living among her books. She's reading a lot. And she has these fantasies of having this relationship like from the books of English literature. So she's quite inexperienced. We see that she was a virgin. She never had a relationship. She even doesn't know what a real relationship is, because the kind of a picture she has is all coming from the books she was reading. So we see that she's quite an introverted person, shy, not so really decisive, not self-confident. Also her self-worth is questionable. I guess you remember the situation. This was the scene when she was at a photography exhibition of her friend, and he made many photos of her that were very, very big, and they were displayed at the exhibition. And when she entered, instead of entering with a big smile, with a lot of self-confidence, she entered the exhibition and she felt ashamed. She saw her pictures hanging in there, and she felt ashamed of herself, that of her looks, of the way she was. So this actually comes down to the fact that she was very, very insecure. She was not self-confident. She didn't maybe know her self-worth. Then the next thing is she was living in the world of romance. So first of all, the books. And if you're a woman who never goes out, never dates, never tries out different things, then you have your own kind of a scenario in your head, like from a book or from a movie. and then you kind of follow it in your real life, this can have a rather dead end. And we can see that Anastasia really, despite being a good girl, and there is a video about being a good girl on my YouTube channel. If you'd like, you can watch that. Then I explain this dynamic of a good girl who does everything they want. She's very agreeable. She doesn't set the boundaries, and neither did Anna. So here we have this portrait of a person who is quite easy to manipulate, especially if you consider how successful Christian Grey was, how decisive he was, like on the outside, portraying these masculine traits that women long for. So she was a kind of his doll, his puppet in the first part of the movie. Then let's describe, I won't describe Christian Grey here because I want to leave it to another video. Then I would need another 10 or 15 minutes to make a proper description of his trauma and how it played out in the movie and how it was portrayed and shown. But here I would like to go into the question number 2, which is the deficits from the childhood. I haven't read the book, but in the movie it was mentioned that Anna's biological father died when she was young. And this is a huge trauma that is in the child's heart when one of the parents or both parents die at a very young age. The child feels abandoned. So this is the so-called abandonment wound, and then how it plays out later on in the adult life, because it's a big trauma. And if you have lost a father or a mother, then you subconsciously long for these feelings that you never had from your father. So what Anastasia longed for was this neediness for love, of being loved, and then she found it with Christian Grey. The father figure being left alone, and there was also this scene in the in a club or a bar when she was drunk. She called him up. He appeared, he drove to the town where the bar was, and he appeared in the bar and took care of her because she was drunk. And then the next day when she woke up in his hotel, she asked him, "Christian, what am I doing here?" And he answered, I couldn't leave you there." And then she kind of smiled, or she felt this kind of satisfaction because she was so thirsty to hear these words that she never heard from her biological father, that he would come to rescue her when she needed him, he would take care of her, he would pamper her, he would tell her how beautiful she is. And every little girl in her childhood needs to hear it from the father. So this was the deficit number 1, a big deficit, the father wound, the abandonment wound. Then let's come to the question number 3, which is what psychological dynamic made her agree to be with a man like Christian Grey. Because when we meet her, we see that she every time she talks to him, she says, "Why can't you be different? Why cannot you have a normal, loving relationship?" So, you know, she knows what she wants. She wants this normal, romantic relationship with dates. In the movies, go to the movies, go to a restaurant, hang out, go to have a walk. The normal relationship that is based on the closeness of people. People learn about each other, they become close, and then they open up. And here we have a totally different vision of a relationship, which is so different from what she wants that it's even strange that she agrees to it. But she agrees to it because she exhibits a savior complex. So this is a kind of a psychological dynamic, a pattern, a savior complex. And a savior is a person who wants to rescue another person. Usually women exhibit this complex, sometimes men as well. But if you want to rescue someone, or if you think that your love will change him, or you are gonna fix him. Usually the savior people or savior women, they chase after broken men, broken people, so that they can mend them, so that they can fix them, so that they can play this teacher-student role, or better to say, it becomes a parent-child role. So it no longer is a couple relationship. So this dynamic of a savior can also be called a codependent person, because we develop this codependence when we want to influence everybody around us, but we fail to notice ourselves, our feeling, violation of our values, and we just focus on mending, on fixing another person. The truth is, you can fix only yourself, and that's the end of the story. And this is a very good thing, to fix only yourself, because you are responsible for yourself. You cannot be responsible for the other person. And Anastasia here, she felt that she would agree, she would be agreeable, she would follow a Christian's wishes, violating her own wishes and vision of a happy relationship, so that she could finally save him. And I think at the end of the first movie from the trilogy, she says, yes, do everything with me so that I can finally understand what you want, how you are, and so on. So she voluntarily agreed to be to experience pain. She voluntarily agreed to be ashamed. She voluntarily agreed for this abusive behavior of hitting her. So usually the savior thinks, yes, I need to go more into the matter to understand this person, but this is not doing you any good. Just the contrary, because you're the savior, you want to save another person with your love, with your efforts, with your inspiration, but you should save this energy for yourself, to take care of yourself, to take off your pinky glasses and come out of the delusional world you have, or the delusional vision that you have in your brain of what love actually is, or that love needs some sacrifices. No, love doesn't need any sacrifices. Every one of us has this kind of a software from the childhood. It's a programming that we received of what is love by just observing our parents. It gets so much ingrained in our brain that later on it plays out in our adult life. But of course there are ways to release all these patterns to have a fulfilling and successful life, and I wish that all of us can do it, live according to our values, standards, wishes. My dear ones, this is all for this episode, for this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Maybe you can watch again 50 Shades of Grey. After having watched this video, then maybe you will notice more types of behaviors that I described today. And anyways, if you have any comments, please, I will be very happy to answer your questions or just give me your feedback. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.